I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
And hello everyone, welcome back, episode 16, Stick to the Pod. And here we are on a Tuesday evening recording this episode. Finally, getting my act together and sorting my life out. Well, let's get straight into things. A fantastic weekend of hockey in NIHL North 1. We're going to jump straight into that. Nothing to mention off ice this week. Nothing's happened. Everything's been pretty straightforward. Fantastic games of hockey right across the division. Can't say that for the South. A lot going on there with Streatham and Invicta. If you haven't seen, have you been living in a hole? If you haven't seen, get yourself on YouTube or Facebook or whatever platform you want to use on Hockey Fight UK and have a look at what's been going on there. And I know due to that incident, Invicta have actually released one of their players due to that. Anyway, that's enough of the South. We're about the North, and let's just get cracking. Hawks D-side, we know, is cancelled from the last episode. D-side spat their dummies out, they didn't want to play. So then we'll move on to Hull and Sheffield. Sheffield, who have been improving over the last few weeks and months, certainly taking a few teams a lot closer than you'd expect. However, Hull on home ice, very strong side, probably the surprise package of the season, mainly down to their home form, which has been absolutely fantastic. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But 4-2 winners against the Sheffield Similarz. And as we say every week, your usual suspects will win your games. Beach on the score sheet, Haggart on the score sheet, and Kent coming up with 2 goals as well. And for Sheffield, we have Rogers and Kidd. Now for the next team and the next fixture, Widnes and the Solihull Barons, a huge fixture for the Barons, considering where they are on the table. Second place, trying to catch the Stars for that Moralee title. And the Widnes, well, if you've been listening over the weeks, I haven't exactly been easy on them. Probably the worst team I have seen play this season. They have been awful. And obviously then you had Textgate, Mr. Coulter sacking players via text, and then the poor excuse and apology that he sent out, and obviously all the 2 ways he brought in who, well, just didn't train with them. They would just turn up on a match day, play the game, go home. But over the last couple of weeks, a bit like Sheffield, there have been big improvements. And Widnes went quite the distance with Solihull last week, if I can remember rightly, going to overtime. This time they go one better, beating the second placed Solihull Barons 5-3 at Planet Ice Widnes. Joe Coulter, player coach, stepping up with 2 goals. Damani James getting himself a couple as well. And Gilbert also on the score sheet. And for another game, no Otterson on the score sheet, but there was Dan Mulcahy, Chandler and Race. So yes, a huge result straight away there with the Barons dropping 2 points in their pursuit of the Billingham Stars. And I can imagine, as I was watching this game, I was at the Bucks game on Saturday, following closely to see what was going on. Very happy with that result. Widnes Wild. We then move into Sunday, and again, a close game, a shock result, and more of the same happening on Sunday. So straight into Sunday's fixtures, the Hawks scratching and scraping out a 3-2 victory at Nottingham. Obviously the late face-off there as well. Yokoyama, as you'd expect for the Nottingham Lions, jumping up with 2 goals for them. And then pretty much your usual suspect for the Hawks, Luckweich, Barnes and Riddick, giving them the 3-2 victory. And then I'm going to go on to more of the same, the North East Derby. And it went as expected. Good tough game. Whitley had quite a bit of legs in the first period. Obviously they were skating round full of energy after their huge, ginormous cup win the night before, picking up that big trophy, the Northern Cup, that was played between themselves and the Edinburgh Capitals. Warriors winning over the 2 legs. So yeah, they had a fair bit of jump and a fair bit of legs in the first period, but that was probably about it. There wasn't anything clinical from them. The passing wasn't crisp, the shooting wasn't on target, and they just slowly drifted off. Stars stuck with them, stuck to their game plan, and riding out 6-1 victors. Usual suspects on your score sheet for the Stars. Ian Brown, who's starting to look very good. Started slowly. You can see he's got a very good hockey IQ, and now he's starting to show that with goals and points. Grittins, as you'd expect, another 2 goals for him against his former side. Captain Michael Elder jumping on the score sheet, and Shuggy also bagging one for the Stars. And then Ord got one to tie the game in the first period, making it 1-1. And that was about it. There was a couple of scuffles. I think it was in the third period. Nout major. That big lump Wood didn't do anything other than maybe that was probably about it. Didn't look interested. Whether his comeback's right or not, I don't know. He just didn't look interested. Tried to fight someone who didn't really want to fight, but he did anyway. The little fella Yarrow skated around a group of people to find the face cage. Had a fight with the young Ben Greenow. But other than that, there was nothing to it. Stars controlled the game, like I say, other than the first period where the Warriors had a little bit of legs in them. Whether the game the night before, like we said, that huge cup game the night before, has taken it out of them and they weren't really prepared or ready for the Stars game, I don't know. But as you say, it was more of the same. It's 12 in a row for now for the Billingham Stars. And I don't want to say it, touch wood, but they are starting to look formidable now. It's going to look like it'll have to be. I don't think anyone in the league is good enough to beat them. There, I've said it. I don't think anyone on paper is good enough to beat the Stars in the Moralee Conference this year. It'll only be themselves, their own attitudes, their own mindsets that will beat them this year. They are looking very, very, very good, and they've not hit the best. They've not even been close to the best. They were ramping it up before Christmas and then got a couple of big injuries, so slowed down a bit. But again, I think heading into the new year, we're a couple of games in. We've got two games coming this weekend. As the legs get underneath them, they're going to get better, they're going to get sharper, they're going to get crisper. The Fan Stars are going to be in for a treat, I think, especially heading into February. Was a couple of knocks on Stars players, but nothing major, I don't believe. I probably won't find out until later in the week what's going on there, but nothing too major, I don't think. And then the other result of that night, the Sunday the 14th, was another win for the Widnes Wild on the road at the D-side Dragons. What a result, what a weekend for the Widnes Wild. Is that it there? Have they turned up now? Have they brought their game to the party? Probably a little bit too late, but there certainly could be a headache for a lot of teams if they have started to bring their A game. On your score sheet is Barlow, Edwards with another 2, Carl Carruth and Gilbert, the 5 for the 5 goals for the Widnes Wild. A huge weekend for them. Fantastic to see. So we'll just quickly run through the weekend's games and results. So on Saturday the 13th of January, Hull 4, Sheffield Scimitars 2, the Widnes Wild 5, the Solihull Barons 3, the Billingham Stars 6, the Whitley Warriors 1, D-side Dragons 2, the Widnes Wild 5, Nottingham Lions 2 and the Blackburn Hawks 3. So that brings us into this weekend's fixtures, and it's going to be another action-packed weekend. So whoever it is you are following, you're going to be in for a great game. There is no bad game this weekend, I can assure you. So starting off with Saturday the 20th of January, just letting you know, day after my birthday, so I expect all those birthday wishes, thank you very much. We have the Billingham Stars at home to the Nottingham Lions. The Nottingham Lions are going to have to start winning, or that last place is going to be theirs. And then we have a huge game which has implications for both teams in the league, but bigger implications for one of the teams in the cup, and that's the Solihull Barons at home versus the D-side Dragons, who both faced shock defeats last weekend to the Widnes Wild. Dragons must win to make the cup. Barons must win to keep pace with the Stars. They're already 4 points behind, and the Stars have got a game in hand. We'll get into that later on. And then on Sunday, going quickly through the fixtures, every game looks a beauty. You got the Widnes Wild at home, Hull Jets. I think it's going to be a beauty game. Widnes Wild look like they have found their game. Hull Jets, we know what they've been like on the road. You have the Whitley Warriors, who've just been battered in the local derby, who are going up against the Dragons, who have played that huge fixture the night before. You then have the Sheffield Scimitars, who are going to host the Barons, who again obviously have lost at the weekend. Don't know how they're going to go on that Saturday. It could be 2 losses in a row for the Barons. The Barons might get back to winning ways on the Saturday. I don't know, but I still think that's a good game. Sheffield could shock the Barons there. They've had a few close games, these two teams. And then Blackburn host the Billingham Stars. which I think will be another beauty. Be interesting to see how Stars go on that bigger ice at Blackburn. Blackburn always raise their game for the Stars. It seems to be their cup final every time they play us. So it'll be certainly interesting to see there. I think the last time the Stars played at Blackburn was a 1-goal victory. So obviously the Hawks will want to put that right in front of their home crowd. So yeah, an absolute action-packed weekend of NIHL North 1. To be fair, I think every weekend's going to be like this now. Like I say, as soon as you get to Christmas, because the season doesn't go that long past Christmas, obviously you've got Cup semi-final at the end of January, you've got Cup final at the end of February, so you're straight into big games. Like that Barons Dragons game's huge for League and Cup. Obviously Dragons desperate to make the Cup, Barons desperate to close down the Stars in the league, and then obviously you've got the teams fighting for position. Obviously we know top 4 are going to get home advantage going into the first round of the playoffs, so there's still a lot to play for, which is fantastic. Obviously all the years gone by, the league's pretty much wrapped up by now. The Sharks have normally got it won, but like I say, they've stepped up and it's opened the league wide open. I do think the Star, maybe I'm being biased, maybe I've got those rose tints on, but I do think the Stars are that step up from the rest at the moment. But it's only what they deserve, we deserve. I've been watching the Stars for, since day dot really. A few painful years, a few years ago. COVID came along, coaching staff decided to rip up the coaching manual. Just played the kids, and those are now reaping those rewards. When you look at the likes of James Helens, who's 21, 22 years old, Joe Dowdle, 21, 22 years old, these are two of the best defensemen in the league, and they've got the full careers ahead of them as hockey players, so they could, as a defensive unit, they could be dominating for a long time. Tom Brown, still in his early 20s. Who else is back on defence? Joe Wall's still early 20s. There's only Andy Finn, who's been a good senior head on that defence, who was over 30. So it's a very, very young side on the defensive part of the game. And even up front, the Sykes, Elder and Moss are the 3 oldest statesmen, and yet the oldest one there is 30-year-old. So still a lot of life left in this team after this season. But it's been great to watch. It's been great to watch the emergence of the Hull Jets. Fantastic home record. Been a little bit disappointed with Nottingham. I thought they would have been better this year. Same with Widnes. I thought they were going to be a lot better this year. Obviously starting to improve now. Solihull have been a bit of a surprise on me, mainly because I didn't really know the roster and the summer signings that they made, because they lost some big players in the summer. Some huge talent gone there. They've signed who they've signed, they've worked hard, and there they are battling at the top. And obviously the Dragons as well, that's their first proper full season. We know that last season they didn't have any home ice for a while, couldn't train, so basically just used last season as a bit of a starter package, ready going into this season. Probably been a bit disappointing for the scoring talent that they've got. Obviously spent big on the players that they've brought in, and obviously they're still strengthening now for this season, brought in another import, brought in, I think, another signing also this week. Blackburn, absolutely chalk and cheese from last year. They had a lot of two-ways last year, and I just don't think it worked. Streamlined that a bit this year. And Dominic Osmond's doing a great job there at Blackburn, who are competing and look a lot better than they did last year. So yeah, all in all, what a fantastic season we're having, and it's only going to get better. So after me little rabble on there, we'll jump into the league table. So if you hear a bit of clicking, I do apologise. So after last weekend's results, we have a league table. I don't know, I'll talk about the cup. The cup, we kind of touched on the cup slightly. So we do have confirmed Billingham Stars as the number 1 seed in the cup. Number 2 seed will play number 3 seed. So Solihull will play Blackburn Hawks on the last weekend of the month, 26th and 27th, I believe. Also, as I mentioned, that huge game between Barons and Dragons has huge implications of what can happen. The Dragons have to win to qualify. If they don't, I believe it does go to the Hull Jets. I'm just trying to look at it now. So yes, so even the goal difference and everything like that, Dragons must win to qualify and play the Stars in the next round of the Cup. So that's that. Moving on to the league table then, after last weekend. So we do have Stars at the top still. What I should say though is Congratulations to the D-side Dragons. They have joined Billingham Stars and Solihull Barons in qualifying for the first round of the playoffs. 3 teams are now definitely 100% qualified. So back to the table. Billingham Stars in first place, played 21 games, 36 points, 4 points clear of second place Solihull Barons, who have played a game more on 22 games and hold 32 points. Then in third place we have the D-side Dragons, in also playing 22 games and holding 29 points. Fourth place, the Blackburn Hawks, 21 games played and 26 points. A big drop for the Warriors, who are in fifth place, 23 games and 25 points. Hull in 6th, 21 games, also 25 points. 2 games in hand on the Warriors and on the same points. So you could see the Hull Jets potentially jump the Warriors. Although I do think the Warriors will get better in the second half of the season. 8th place, the Sheffield Scimitars, 21 games played, 8 points. They're not catching the 7th place team. And at the bottom, also on 8 points, Nottingham Lions with 22 points. So just a little quick rumble through the league table there. Yep, the Warriors are a point behind 4th place in that all-important top 4, obviously for the home advantage. The Warriors have played 2 games more, also, and a point behind. So potentially a 5-point swing there, depending on how the Blackburn Hawks go with those 2 games in hand. And then obviously you got the Hull Jets as well. Also got 2 games in hand on the Warriors and on the same points. And these positions all do matter. They matter massively. Even if you don't get home advantage going into the first round of the playoffs, it's 1st v 8th, it's 2nd v 7th, 3rd v 6th, and 4th v 5th. So at the moment, let's just do it. If the league ends now, you've got the Billingham Stars versus the Sheffield Scimitars. You'd have the Solihull Barons versus the Widnes Wild. That would be tasty. The D-side Dragons and the Hull Jets, another tasty fixture. And the Blackburn Hawks and the Whitley Warriors, another fantastic fixture. How good would that first round of playoffs be if those were your fixtures? Obviously there's going to be a lot changing there, but I just think it's the first round of the playoffs is going to be fantastic if that's what the fixtures are going to look like. Man, we're in for a great end of the season. So as I've been doing over the last couple of weeks now, I have been doing a little update on the NIHL Conference, so I'm just going to jump over to their fixtures now. I have been to a couple of Bucks games over the last couple of weeks. It's been good watching the young Stars players who have been on 2 ways. Lucas Darrell doing really, really well. Great to see Sam Dowd dominating that division. He's doing very, very well in the games he's playing. It would be great to see him full time in a Stars jersey soon. And then you've got young Ben Green, how he's been playing forward, building his confidence a lot. You can see that in his game. You've got Stuart Jackson, who also playing defence there for the Buccaneers, also gaining a lot of confidence with the more ice time he's getting, and it's good to see. And it's good to see for Billingham ice hockey players getting that deserved ice time and improving with it. So let's move on to the fixtures from Saturday the 13th of January in the Ladler. Starting with the Billingham Buccaneers and the Kingston Sharks. It was a 7-1 victory from the Buccaneers, and it was pretty much all the Buccaneers from the moment they scored that first goal never looked back. League leading Telford Tigers got a 7-0 victory over the Bradford Bulldogs. And that was it for Saturday's fixtures. And then Sunday's only fixture, which we'll get into, was the Sheffield Titans and Nottingham Lions in NIHL 2 playing out that big derby. The Titans running out 11-3 victors. Now also on this Sunday, there should have been the Altrincham Aces versus the Billingham Buccaneers. And not only was a huge league game, like a massive league game because they're right near each other in the league as well, it was a massive cup game as well. Basically the winner went through and got Telford in the semi-final of the cup. So why wasn't it played? Well, the Buccaneers thought it was going to be played. They even got all the way on the bus to the Altrincham ice rink to find out the game was being cancelled because of a hole in the ice. Now, do you repair it and give the ice a chance to heal and repair? Put cones on it around the ice sessions so the ice session can still go ahead. Planet Ice need to make money after all. But to let a team turn up, I know it's not on Altrincham Aces to a point. It kind of is, but kind of isn't. But junior games earlier that day had been cancelled. There was an issue with the ice the night before in the Storm game. So someone knew what was going on. And then for the rumours of the league are just going to award the game a point each, is an absolute joke. There was too much riding on the game, league and cup, for the league to say it's a 1-1 game. Now, looking at the fixtures, as I am now, I'm pretty confident both teams have got this Saturday free. Both teams are free this Saturday. Granted, Altrincham might not have the ice time. Very busy rink with all the junior teams and the Storm and the Aces. Well, if it's that bad, reverse the fixture. Play it at Billingham. Yeah, granted, the Stars are playing the Lions on the same day, but you start afterwards or you start before. I'm sure there was a way of making this happen. Just to take the easy option out and say it's a point each. It's a bit shit from the NIHL, if you ask me, but never mind. Anyway, the league table of the NIHL Conference will go down to the cup table first. I know nothing has come out from the NIHL to confirm it, but the rumour is it's a point each. Cup table will have the number 1 seed guaranteed to be Telford Tigers. The number 2 seed, who will play the 3 seed, guaranteed to be Sutton Sting versus the NIHL Blaze. And then what looks like to be the 4 seed, the Sheffield Titans, who are going to benefit from that cup game being cancelled. Anyway, into the league table. At the top of the tree, and probably no looking back, with only 20 games played, a point ahead of second place, Telford Tigers 2 on 38 points. Sutton Sting played 2 games more on 37 points. The NIHL Blaze, who have been great the past few weeks, also playing 22 games with 33 points. 4th place, trying to grab that home advantage for the playoffs. The Billingham Buccaneers in their first year, 21 games played, 23 points. Sheffield Titans are 5th place, 21 games, 22 points. 6th place, Altrincham Aces, 19 games played and 16 points. Win your 2 games in hand, you're on 20 points and you're pushing for that 4th spot. So it makes that game a big game. 7th place, Bradford Bulldogs, 20 games played, 13 points. The league's other newcomers, 8th place, Kingston Sharks, 22 games played, 6 points. And the basement dwellers at the bottom there, 9th place, Lions 2, 19 games played and 3 points. So just bear with me for one moment. I am going to try and find out a bit of information for you. So yes, I've been looking to see if the information in regards to playoff weekend, still no news of the venue. So we will hopefully have some news coming soon, I'm being told. Hopefully this weekend, fingers crossed. If not this weekend, at least within the next fortnight. So that is pretty much it for this episode. And yeah, when you're listening to this, it should be Wednesday or Thursday and not last minute on a weekend. Hopefully I can stick to this programme as such. Better for me in the long run, better for you listening before the weekend instead of on the weekend or after the weekend. But yeah, thanks for listening and I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.